We are live.
All right, we'll start our meeting at 3:07, October 7th. This is our third meeting for the North Wacom District 4 RFA Planning Committee. And we'll do a quick attendance here, introduction. From North Wacom, do we have Commissioner Ansel here?
Present.
Commissioner Crawford?
Present.
Vice Chair Commissioner Fisher?
Present.
And Commissioner Bozeman. Your audio's off there, Rich.
No, I'm present.
And from District 4, we have Commissioner Andrews.
It's here.
And Commissioner Hanson wasn't able to attend. He has something else going on. Support staff, we have our consultant Karen Reed.
Hello.
And Chief Veen.
Here.
And our Secretary Treasurer Jenny Sand.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. And looks like the only guest we have today is Local 106 Bargaining Unit Ken Cunningham.
Yep.
And Chris has joined us.
Chris is here. Chris just joined.
Okay. Chris is here?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So I think everybody's had a chance to review the agenda packet and the meeting minutes.
Yep. Yes.
Anybody have any issues with the meeting minutes from last meeting?
Not here.
No.
All right. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. Commissioner Fisher make the motion and Commissioner Andrews second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right. Meeting minutes from our last meeting are approved. And then I'll hand it over to our consultant, Karen Reed.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you all. The overview of today is sort of finishing up some of the sort of the foundational process stuff that we need to know how to move forward and go over that work plan that I put together, which is a guess at this point about how we will be able to move through the work in a way that I think would be logical. The only action on today's agenda is approving the committee charter, if you choose, and then we're going to look at some other documents here in the agenda. And the first place I wanted to, before I go there, thank you very much to Jenny for getting this packet out to all of you and compiling it into a single document. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to go to item 3 on the agenda, which was a little bit of follow-up on the meeting 2 discussion about the EMS levy, and that's on page 11 of your packet. And it's in addition to the material that Chris kindly forwarded that we circulated out to you, which had a summary from her on EMS and also the last resolution from District 21 putting a fire levy lid lift on the ballot. So those materials from Chris are in the back of your packets, just to make sure everybody has those. So the levy update that is in your packets, one clarification / correction. If you look under the hypothetical examples, example 1, that should really say on the column at the very right-hand side was his result for District 4, should say 20 cents ILA. Because if you were the idea is that the total combined levy from everybody that's doing an EMS levy can't exceed 50 cents. But because you have an interlocal, if that happens, you guys are made whole in District 4 and the county takes the loss. So this was just to summarize where you are in the levies now, to confirm that District 4 can stop that. It's a permanent levy, but the district can decide not to continue to levy it at any point in time. And that was it. If there are questions on this, I'm happy to try to answer them. And my thanks to Rich Davis for his input here. And we did share this with Chris and Joe Quinn as well, I believe. Were there any questions on this one? Just to sort of summarize where we are on the EMS levies.
Not here.
None.
Okay.
No.
Well, then let's move on to the next item, which is the proposed charter. We went over this last time, And it's redlined to show what I understood coming away from that discussion would be how you guys wanted to approach this. We inserted the project goals from that discussion we had last time. And I would, and just in particular, if you call your attention to bullet number 2 there under section A, this is on page 12. This is the one that Jason and I said we would wordsmith. So you might take a look at that and have some other ideas about how to make it better. But this is just a starting place for why we're all having this discussion, but it's sort of nice to have that starting place.
Hang on one second. I'm pulling this up on another.
Okay.
Page 12, number 2, is that the one?
Yes.
To build on the current operating agreement. That one?
Yep, that's the one.
Well, they all look good to me.
Okay. So if I go through this again, we confirm the membership. The schedule is about twice a month between now and May, or April, excuse me, April. And then once a month from May to July, and then the election is the beginning of August. That confirming that you guys are advisory to the 2 boards of commissions. And we'll be doing periodic updates to keep them informed, to make sure we're not running off in some bad direction. We've got notice that we're not going to be taking public input at this meeting as a matter of regular course, but if you decide to do so at any point, that's fine. We're just not going to be planning for that so that we can really focus on the tasks at hand. We have a chair and a vice chair talking about how to replace members, which is going to be tricky in the District 4 situation. A quorum is a simple majority of you all. To take action on things, we need to get 4 votes minimum, and consensus is considered 2 supporting votes from District 21 and District 4. These are public meetings and that will all be noticed as such. And this also does talk about getting a website and posting all the materials and agendas online so that the public can transparently see what we are up to. And I talked to Bruce briefly before the meeting about the next to last paragraph on page 16, funding. And he observed that you had, as a committee at our last meeting, agreed that you would like to divide the costs for the project equally. And you can, if you would like to reflect that in here, we can do that, or you can leave the text as is. Obviously, your decision to do that is advisory to both of the boards, but it's a perfectly good thing that you guys are thinking about that and have made that decision. And if you would like it, if you'd like to tweak this charter to reflect that, that's fine too. It's just up to you, gentlemen.
Since we did have a motion and it was unanimously approved to fund it, it just seemed like this didn't represent what we are currently doing. I mean, it says we will make a recommendation, and we already did. So my thoughts were, why don't we just memorialize it, saying that at such and such a meeting, we did memorialize this, and both parties agreed to share the expenses equally.
So I could, if you guys wanted to go that direction, that section, that paragraph L would say something along the lines of, the planning committee has recommended that all project costs be allocated equally between the district and NWFR. And I can easily make that change in the final. Is that a change that makes sense to you guys? Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
Okay.
So Karen, just for clarification then, this is a working document that we will take back to our respective boards, and then they will either agree or disagree to it. Ironically, the majority of both boards have been here, so it almost seems.
I think what I like to try to do is have you guys just make sure you have a short amount of time on your respective boards' agendas to review the action items that have been taken. And just if there's anything that just is not working, you come back, let us know what that is the next time we get together. So it can be just a quick check-in. We've adopted a charter. You guys have seen it. We've got a work plan. We've got a statement of principles that we're working on. Any comments or concerns? Yes, no, okay. We've got a funding proposal. The bills will be coming forward to you as per that recommendation, unless we do something different here and let the committee know.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okey-doke.
Good.
Yep.
So as amended, would you like to make a motion to approve this committee charter?
So moved.
I'll second.
Everybody signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, looks like the motion is passed. We've approved the charter.
Excellent. I will have a cleaned up version sent to you shortly after the meeting today, and we'll include it in your meeting packet next time in case it escapes your notice. Okay, the next agenda item, if we're ready, is an update on project staffing and costs. And the chief was just going to bring maybe like 30 seconds worth of update here, if that's helpful.
So reached out to Bill Cushman, and he has agreed to work with us. He uses a handshake agreement, which tells me he's old school. And he's happy to sign a contract, but he generally does things under a handshake agreement. He keeps track of his hours. I have yet to start sending him all the documents. I'm hoping that will, or what he needs, that should happen tomorrow. We've been trying to get stuff done for next week's commissioner meeting around here today. So I believe we're going to talk a little bit more about communications help a little further down here. So that will be an additional piece that I'll be adding. But we are very fortunate to have Mr. Cushman willing to help us. So he is known for putting us through the stress test, is what
And he's already started working on it. He called me the other day, and he's pulled together the property tax records from the last decade or so, and has started looking at how your AV has been going. And one of the things he's going to come ask you at some point is, here's what has happened. Here's what the assessor's thinking. What would you guys like to use as your assumed future growth rate in assessed value? And you could take a couple of markers and say, well, run it conservatively and run it aggressively, and here's what we'd like. So those are the types of things that he'll be coming to you to sort of say, here are some sort of foundational assumptions that will drive this model. And he'll try to make sure he walks through those with you, make sure you guys are comfortable with them. There will at times be way more data than any of us want to look at, but I think Bill's model has about 7,000 different data points in it. And I promise you, he won't bring all 7,000 of them to us, but he will bring a slug load at some point, and we'll work to make it as simple and helpful and expeditious as possible. That's that. Okay. Were there any questions for the chief, or do we want to move on here?
The financial forecast plan, Chief, we had spoken a while back about kind of reviewing our master plan and ESCI documents and thoughts about stations and equipment. Is that going to be something that we'll need to sort of sub work on this outside of this committee?
I believe it is. It's going to be an important part of future planning for the RFA. What are we gonna keep? What are we gonna get rid of? What do we need to renovate? All that is going to play into what Mr. Cushman is going to do as well. What kind of capital improvements do we need to make in what areas, and how much is that going to cost, and when does that need to happen? So these are all things that Mr. Cushman is going to help us work through.
And it will, I think, exactly as you suggest, Bruce, it will require some teams of folks come together and look internally and say, okay, what do we need in the next 7 years in the way of equipment replacement? to maintain our service levels. And if you'll see in the work plan that I've suggested, and I've confirmed this with Bill as well, that we try to build for him a set of what you guys think is baseline, the minimum you need to maintain your service level over the 7-year period. And then what we might call baseline plus, what you would do to give yourself a little bit more cushion and or improve services in areas that you think are particularly critical. And that would cover both apparatus and facilities as well as staffing. And so there will be sort of, those data sets will need to be put together in a way that can get dropped in the model, and that we can price those going forward and see what that does to the run rate and your reserves and things like that. And I don't know how huge of an undertaking that is for y'all, but the chief and I talked about it briefly the tail end of last week about trying to get launched on finding people that could assist the chief in making those assessments about baseline and baseline plus on those 3 areas.
So Mark, do you have any thoughts as to how we as a committee would approach this? I mean, there's probably a couple of options. We farm it out to members of the department or administrative staff, or them plus one of us or more than one of us, or obviously probably it can't be 2 from District 4 because then it's a quorum, but do you have, I guess, does the committee have any thoughts on who ought to be involved in
I don't have
making that forecast?
I don't have any thoughts on that at this time. I mean, I'm kind of wondering what the forecast looks like in terms. I'm new to this, position, and even being a commissioner in District 4, so knowing what this department needs, both districts need, is I'm kind of following the word of Chief Veen on that. But I would think that the chief would put together a committee, or whoever is involved there could be a member from this committee involved in that, or a subcommittee, or what. I don't have any thoughts on it. That's kind of what my envision I would think would be. If anybody has any other ideas?
If I may, I think Karen kind of warned us about subcommittees earlier,
Yeah.
but maybe one commissioner from each district and myself this is something we could tackle. It might be a good learning opportunity for you, Commissioner Chamberlain. Take a deep dive into the documents. Right. But I think that 3 of us could tackle this, and it would, I think that admin and governance need to be together on this.
Mark, I'm willing to help out with this. I know that, being retired offers me a little bit more time to work on things. And I know that, you're trying to keep your head above water.
Yeah.
I don't know if Harry, if you're interested, or if you're happy with us kind of putting together a proposal, bringing it back so that you guys can review it. What's your thought?
I'm happy with that. Yeah, that would work well. I've got covered up with doctor's appointments for the next month or so, but no, that sounds good to me.
John or Scott? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Like Harry, I have a bunch of doctor's appointments this month, so.
I would be happy to play a part in, some part of that role in that committee or that group. I just don't want to make a really strong commitment. I am kind of trying to keep my head above water here with everything. But if I could entertain any of my free time towards it, I'd be glad to do that.
Well, I guess the last thing I'd want to do is come together or come work on a project and then have it misconstrued as this is District 21's wish list and doesn't reflect the wants and needs of District 4, which personally, I see us as one district anyway right now, but I know that there has been some tension in the past about who's who and who gets what, and I guess having your representation or input would make me feel better that this isn't something that we've just tried to railroad through and say it's in the best interest for us, not for all of us.
I completely agree with that, Bruce. And yeah, like I said, I would be glad to participate in it. I guess just shoot me the information, and if you guys want to meet and go over that stuff, or is it going to come in like in a 700-page document when it's with the 7,000 points of data? I might be able to get through that in about a year.
No more than 6,000. We could also ask Commissioner Hanson as well. I mean, see if he's interested. If
This one's only 148, Mark.
Yeah, I would be glad to review a document like that and shoot my information towards you guys on behalf of District 4, so you guys don't get completely broadsided or anything. I know how that goes. I've heard about it in the past, and I don't want to see that happen again. So, but the past is in the past. Let's move forward. If that's what you want to do, Chief, like a kind of a split deal, is that where we're going? Am I being too broad?
No. I think that's good. I think for just to have eyes from both districts on,
Yeah.
What's our wish list? What's our high? What's our high mark? What's our low mark? What's our medium mark? Just so that there's, so that there's no expectations that don't get met.
I have a question. Would you want anybody from your operations or labor in that too at all?
I don't think it would hurt to have labor involved at all. And I can, if you're amenable, I'll certainly drag you along with me. I can always use help with the work, but yeah, I don't know. I don't want to press down on labor to ask them to do anything that's kind of outside their job description. So unfortunately, right now it's just it's a one-man fighting hole. So I'm going to have to be the guy.
Which is why, I've sort of volunteered to help out, because I know that your workload is extensive, and actually was kind of hoping maybe to drag Kimberly along with me just for experience and knowledge, and she's got some business world background as well, and it wouldn't hurt her to get up to speed as a commissioner as to where we're at. I understand she went to did a tour of the district on Friday, and so I don't know if any of you would be opposed to adding some workload to her plate.
Is Kimberly your guys' new commissioner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would be happy on behalf of District 4 to put my eyes and recommendations on that document too, or that information.
Do you have a copy of the master plan?
I do. I have an electronic copy, and I've read through parts of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's good somnolent material.
Yeah. I can't say it hasn't put me to sleep a couple times.
All right. Well, as long as you have that, that's, in my opinion, we paid good money to have that done. They did a thorough job. They've sort of outlined our strengths and weaknesses. And for me, it's something that we really have asked for to try and follow and improve our service level in the both near and long-term future. So I think we would be foolish to ignore that document.
So I think you guys can just do this, but if anybody wanted to make a motion to ask the chief to convene a group that includes Bruce and Mark and Ken and the new commissioner, I'm sorry, I just dropped her name, to
Kimberly.
try to develop at least 2 scenarios on future equipment, staffing, and facilities needs for the financial model.
Does anybody want to make that motion for the chief to put that committee together?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Second,
All right. Commissioner Andrews, second. Anybody want to speak in favor or against it? All right. Anybody, let's just go ahead and vote on it. Everybody that wishes to have that committee formed, signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody oppose? Sounds like it passes.
Excellent. Okay, well, that'll be really interesting work. And there may be some data points that you'll want to dredge up along that way that will overlap with other things that Bill's asking you. I think there will be some good overlap there. The next item on the agenda was the updated side-by-side comparison document, but I think we're still having trouble getting the interesting data point out of the Whatcom County assessor about the average household assessed value in the districts. So
They sent me a document that is all of the parcels in both districts combined and their assessed valuation. And they basically said, I need you to do the math yourself. So we're working on it. It's all it's an interesting, it's a lot of data.
is there any coding which tells you which of the parcels are residentially zoned?
Yes.
That's
I do
maybe
have
the
that.
only thing.
And luckily they are in blocks. So I'm hoping that it's as simple as cutting and pasting those blocks and then doing the right, getting the right formula together, and we can figure out the average. So it's just such a massive document, and
Yeah.
it's
I
a lot
think
of scrolling.
Yeah, it becomes really sort of good data to have, obviously, when you are trying to figure out how much are we going to be asking the average household to take on here at this level versus that level. So it's good data to have. I'm surprised the assessor can't get it for you, and it's possible Bill can help you.
Okay.
That's something you might want to think about. You probably have better things to do than plow through 700 pages of numbers.
It's a lot of numbers.
Okay, so we'll bring that back if and when we get that extra data point. And then we're going to move on to the work plan, which starts at page 17 of the packets. And this is a draft. The actual agendas and things we will be adjusting as we go if we need more time or something's late or we got through it faster. But this basically shows how I think we would get through this in meeting approximately 2 times a month between now and end of next April, at which point the plan has to have been vetted by the 2 boards of commissioners. In the first week of May is when things have to get transmitted over to elections. So that translates, given holidays and such, that translates to about 15 total meetings, and we're on meeting 3. And as I talked about last time, the idea is to sort of drive forward on multiple tracks. On the finance, that's the most complicated one, the governance, the straightforward stuff that just has to be, mirror in the plan, what you guys are doing now. And then the other 4th one is really the organizational chart, which I think will also take some time. It's connected not only to the merger of the 2 staff groups, but also to what the new committee will be working on in terms of baseline staffing and staffing baseline plus that might allow you, if you filled some of those gaps in your org chart, to enhance your service levels. What gaps would you fill, and what does that suggest about salaries? So those are in there, and each meeting would have the approval of the last meeting summary, an update of any communications from the public that we've gotten, trying to respond to questions from the last meeting, and an opportunity for Ken to talk with you and share any comments he has. And if things are an action item, they're in boldface so you can see when decisions are being made. I've got not a strong, based on the discussion last time when everybody was like, there aren't really no-go decisions for us. I've got this sort of an end of the year check-in with both boards of commissioners to have them reaffirm whether they still want to continue the project into the new year. We won't have made a whole heck of a lot of decisions by then, but we'll have made some. And then I'm suggesting we would have 2 sort of online meeting, public input opportunities before the plan is fully baked, so that the input is sort of authentically useful. And I'm suggesting we try to do one of those in mid-February and then in late March. And those are the orange bars that you see in this plan document. And again, you'd start briefing, you start discussing at your full commissioners boards, the full plan in April, and have to approve that by the end of April, along with a resolution agreeing, so you approve the RFA plan and a resolution to place it on the ballot. So that's sort of the deal there. I'm not going to read the work plan to y'all, but were there questions about, like, I don't see this in here, when is this going to happen? Or anything else like, this is way too aggressive, we're never going to get there? Any thoughts about this? The hardest part is the financial model and bringing that back in pieces as it's developed, and then talking through the different scenarios to get to a place where you guys are comfortable deciding what your starting levy rate would be, and understanding what that starting levy rate means for y'all in terms of cash flow and recurring needs for levy lid lift elections, if any.
Aaron, when we started this, was there a limit on the number of times we could meet as a committee? I thought when we started this process, wasn't there like 9 meetings before the end of the year? Does anyone else remember that discussion?
It was in the RFA planning document that had been set out by the state chiefs or state commission. I can't remember which.
The number of meetings that you were allowed to have or something like that?
There's nothing in the statute. They may have put together, I have not seen what you are referring to, but there's nothing in the statute that tells you how frequently or infrequently you can meet.
Okay, I'll see if I can.
Yeah,
It's just stuck in my mind that there was a fixed number, but maybe, like you said, it was just someone's.
Maybe in somebody else's plan and how many they did. We can put in more meetings, but I think the thing that's going to be slowing us down is probably how quickly the data can come together for the modeling. So that's, and I'm guessing this may be in here a little too aggressively. We'll just go as fast as we can without killing anybody. That's really not, a good plan. So we're just keep up with and be respectful of everybody else's other workloads and get as far as we can as expeditiously as possible. So were there any questions about this or suggestions? Does it make sense to you? Is it a different format would be more helpful? Or this will just sort of be my guidepost is in putting together agendas to bring forward to you, and I'll adjust it as necessary depending on how fast we're going on various things.
Not to exceed $700 per year. So, sorry. RCW 5226030, it talks about planning committee formation and powers. Item 2 says that you appoint 3 elected officials. Members of the planning committee may receive compensation of $70 per day, not to exceed $700 per year. So 10 meetings a year would be
The max.
That's where I did the math, I guess. And I don't care. Personally, I just want everyone else to know it looks like there's a limit as to, unless they've lifted that compensation policy.
What statute was that, Bruce?
Oh man, I closed the book. Hang on.
5226030.
Thank
I
you.
got it. I got it. Okay.
And I think, by the end of this year, you will have met, as we've got it now, 6 times. So all of those meetings could be compensated if your separate boards are choosing to compensate you. And then we will have, as this goes, we would have as many, we'll exceed 10 meetings next year for sure.
Are you planning a meeting in December?
Right, there is not a meeting of this committee in December. I have suggested that we have commissioner briefings in December, but if those needed to happen in November and the stars aligned, that would be fine too.
Okay. And then one meeting in January, one in February, 2 in February.
Yeah, part of that has to do with, I know this is subject to change, but January can be hard, and I know I'm theoretically somewhere else for half the month. So I figured we'd probably not only get one, we'd probably only get one meeting in.
Hawaii's closed.
Yeah, I have my eyeball set on going back to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Don't know if any of that's going to happen. Especially if I don't renew my passport. It's definitely not happening.
Well, you can't renew it right now.
I know. They're like, don't send us anything. We don't care.
I count only 9 meetings next year.
Yeah, but that just gets you through May. And then we'll have to meet monthly in June, July, and August. May, June, July, and August, we'll meet monthly. And then if the election passes, we'll be scrambling around like crazy people to actually transition and start the new taxing district by October 1st. And those are not on here because I've just, I didn't want to jinx everything. I want to get us up through the election. But yeah, heads up, things get very exciting when we are successful at the election.
They get more exciting than now? Then how, so thanks for bringing that RCW up, Bruce. I heard there was some kind of limit as to what it was and why it existed. I'm not sure. So how do we follow that RCW next year if we have all these meetings? Do we have to, or is there a way around it? Is there fine print and then big print, or what's the?
I think it's, I think it pertains to compensatable meetings, not meetings.
Yeah.
So it's-
Right, yeah, it's just, I just kind of wanted everyone to be aware that we may be having meetings where you won't be compensated.
Okay.
And,
is
for the $70, it's not breaking my budget, so.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody is on board with that and nobody has any problems with that.
No,
I don't, I just didn't want to get blindsided come mid next year and everybody goes like, whoa, we're not getting compensated anymore. And
Yeah, that's my point. That's why I'm bringing it up now. I just want to make sure there's nobody that would bring anything up later. Let's get it out of the way now. So
I'm fine with it.
All right. Anybody else
John and
not fine with it or fine with it?
I'm
fine with,
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
This doesn't apply to you though, Karen.
Thank you for that clarification.
Are you fine with that, Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine with it too. So
and so am I.
All right.
hopefully that won't pop up next year then.
Well, this, I don't know if you guys want to think about this next time. There's a couple typos in this. We can take action on it today, or I can bring it back and we can quickly do a thumbs up on it next time. What's your pleasure?
Let's do what we can today.
Yeah, I don't have any problems tackling what we can today. So
Okay, I'll flag that I have typos on page 19, page 3 of it. The late March and mid-April rows, the word council needs to come out. It's just commissions. So that's my bad. So I'll fix that. And with that fixed, then I guess we're looking for a motion to approve this as our proposed work plan, understanding that it will evolve as reality
Karen?
evolves. Yes, Chris.
Here, if you look on page 19 under May 2021,
Uh-huh.
there's deadline to submit measure to county elections office for August 2020.
Oh, that should be
So that'd be
2021.
2021. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else people saw in here? I think we're good. All right. So with those typos corrected, is there a motion to approve this as the proposed committee work plan between now and next May.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Scott and Harry. And then-
Okay, everybody in favor of the motion? Signify by
Aye.
saying-
Aye.
Anybody oppose? Nobody opposes. Motion's passed to approve the work plan.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go to the next agenda item then, which is a review of a draft communications plan and some text, which I think you could post on your website with a few tweaks probably, to at least have things launched to engage the public and help keep them informed. And the staff as well can use this to keep them informed of what's going on, and the commissioners who are not participating in these meetings. So this is on page 20 of your packet. I just used a really simple, what they call masked format: messages, audience, strategy, tactics. And just to sort of say, we're basically at this point, we're just announcing that we're going through this process because we think there's some value to creating an RFA, who's on the committee, and that how we will keep the public informed as we go along. And this will get updated as we make decisions. But it's not super, mostly it's just really basic. What's really gets updated is the agendas, and the materials get posted so people can track along with your progress and see what you're doing, along with the meeting summaries, which will really tell them. This includes the 2 online forums that we talked about in the work plan, those orange bars where we try to create some mechanism for the public to engage with you all. And that's the one where I think we may want to think about engaging some outside communications assistance in shaping and helping with that kind of an effort, unless you guys think we can do it in-house. If you're comfortable doing something like that in-house, great. When we get to the point of finalizing the plan and really thinking that, okay, we're going to go forward to an election, that's the point we'll need to engage somebody that's a real elections communication strategy consultant. And those folks are going to be more like in the $25,000 to $50,000 range, depending on how much they think they need to do to help you and who you hire. And we don't know who that person or that firm would be at this point, but you may want to have some nominal communications help on press releases and, again, the online forums in the winter as we go. I think we're okay for the next couple of months. It's not like we have to have this assistance right now, unless you would just say, well, it'll help them do a great job for us if they're in the loop earlier rather than later. So, so that's the sort of the follow-on thinking at this point on the communications assistance. Again, we don't need to decide anything today, but just know that you will. And I don't know whether you have some thoughts about whether we could do an online forum with current staff resources or not. It's not something that I mean, I could probably facilitate it online, but I don't really think of myself as being the person that would necessarily do all the planning around an online forum. You might want to do a mailer to let people know you're having the forum. You might want to make sure you're writing little articles in any electronic or written media that you routinely circulate, and just trying to get on top of those type of opportunities and starting that messaging now to just inform people so they don't go, what the heck is this in a year? Where have you been for the last year, and why didn't I not hear about it? You want to try to make it visible and positive from the get-go.
Didn't we discuss last meeting that we were going to set up a website?
Mm-hmm.
And that would cover most of the stuff for the public.
It will cover the basic stuff and have the things posted. What it won't cover is the actual logistics on doing an online forum and the actual logistics of drafting little updates for your newsletters that hopefully go out on a somewhat regular basis. And that's not a huge lift, and you're obviously doing it now. It's not the online forums, but you're obviously sending out newsletters now. So again, I think the additional help may simply be in prepping for the online forums. I don't know, Chief, what would you say, or Chris? I don't know whether you have done online forums before, but just in terms of whether you would like to have, you think it might be good to bring somebody on for just those pieces of it. Chief, what are you thinking?
I do think it would be nice, would be essential for us to bring on somebody that's comfortable with that. We can update the website.
Mhm.
We can get out the newsletter. We can source, we can do the sourcing for the stories that go in the newsletter and get information for, to be put onto the online forums or to be released in the online forums. But that skill is not something that we have in-house here. Unless Chris, I don't know if do you have that?
No, I never done an online form. I think it's probably beneficial to get somebody's experience in,
Okay.
or at least to learn how to do it, to get some guidance.
Hey, Chief, maybe we'll reach out to Ralston and see who he used in the past, if they did. I can,
Yeah, I don't know that was something that they did. I think they did everything in public.
Yeah, we got this
Right.
new zippy COVID fund that we have to adjust to.
That's
And they may have had comm staff on in-house in South Whatcom. I don't know. But I've given the chief the names of 3 consultants that I think could do this work for you. And he can follow up at his leisure later this fall, and we can bring that on so we're ready to go when it becomes sort of thinking about forums time.
and a good some of the people that she gave me the names for are currently working with Graham Fire and Rescue. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram and you look at some of what they're doing in social media, it's pretty impressive. And I can see it being very valuable outreach.
Yeah,
to
they
our
have they have online, they have in-house comm staff that there's 2 folks that are spending a ton of time doing social media stuff for them, which in the context of the election they're going through now is super important and really helpful. And they posted videos of the chief describing what the proposition is that they're bringing forward to the voters, and fact sheets, and integrating it into their newsletter. So it's the whole cabal of stuff. It's really helpful to have some folks helping you shape the messages, and I often partner with those folks to help them through some of the technical stuff, but they're really phrasing that stuff is something of an art. And it's nice to have somebody that's done it before and been successful at it.
Chief or Ken, I know in my former career, we had people within our organization that all we thought they did was ride around on the tailboard, and their previous lives, they were really important people that did stuff like this. Do we have anyone within our ranks that has any of this type of experience or would be able to assist us?
I've got 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm not going to out them here, but I've got 2 that I can think of. I bet Ken's probably thinking too.
It just, it's amazing the talent pool that you realize you have if you just ask the question, and rather than go out and hire someone who doesn't know diddly about us or anything, and then you've got a couple people sitting around the coffee table saying, "Oh, I could do a better job than that." So it sure would be nice to explore in-house, at least to assist if that's possible.
Ken and I will put our heads together and we'll put out some feelers to the body and see what we can come up with.
So were there any questions or concerns about just the little 1-pager, really basic plan, which is the starter plan there on page 20? And then I'll stop there just to see if anybody had questions or concerns about that. It's pretty basic. But.
The one with the question and answer piece, or are we talking?
No, the one on page 20 that's in the template form.
Oh, the initial communication plan?
Yeah.
Silence.
I don't have any issues with it.
So this will be our, if this looks okay to you, might be good to get a motion, and this will just be our sort of guidepost about, yep, we're gonna try to make this stuff happen.
You want to like a motion to approve this?
Yes, actually, that'd be great.
I will make a motion to approve the proposed initial phase communication plan as written.
Second,
Any more discussion about it? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Anybody oppose? Committee has approved the proposed initial phase communication plan.
Thank you all. On the next thing related to this starts on page 21, and it goes for about 3 and a smidge pages, which is some just starter text for what the website could say, and note some links where people could go and find the agendas and stuff like that, and submit comments if they had them. It's just really basic stuff. The highlighted part on page 22 was sort of a rough rephrasing of why the heck we're thinking about why we're having this discussion. That can probably be refined. But if you had had a chance to look at this and had any questions or thoughts about how to improve it, that would be great. I guess my goal would be that we get something along these lines posted online with links through both district websites to the same exact stuff this month. And it's hopefully that's not a huge task with it being written, and we just can link the materials in. So if any, we didn't really need to, I mean, this is sort of where we would probably go with this text. And if you had questions or suggestions to improve it in the next week or today, that would be great.
I mean, I think it's good. I liked how it read. It was pretty informative to the lay person, I believe. But I think I would like to bring it to our board, which the meeting's on the 15th next week anyway, since it is going to go out on either through our newsletter or website, that the board is fully aware and approves it. So, I mean, if we're all here happy with it, this is an item I'd like to see the board say, yeah, I'm good with that. Let's put it out. And
Probably.
so I think we both have meetings next week. And
After,
Ours meeting is the following week.
Yep. On the 21st,
I think it's the
Okay.
22nd.
21st,
Okay, 21st, yes.
Yep. 21st, yep.
At what time is that?
1 PM.
1 PM, not 12.
No, at 1.
Okay.
I think that's a terrific idea, Bruce, and you might want to accompany it with the overall initial phase communications plan, so they see the larger context for this is where we're starting, here's kind of where we're going. I think that would be wonderful if the committee wants to vote to take those things forward. It'll be the first briefing update for them. You can share the charter. You can share your own sense of what's been going on so far, and then ask for a thumbs up on maybe the expenditure plan and this language on the website.
I'm happy to take that back to our meeting on the 15th.
I will do the same for the meeting on the 21st too.
Is anyone on this committee opposed to us doing that?
no.
Do we need a motion for that? I don't think we do. I mean,
I think it's just an update to say that we're going to go back and approve this. But
I think it's in the charter anyways that we do that, so.
Yeah. So what you're going to want to say, let them know maybe, is that you would like to proceed in implementing the plan by starting with posting something along these lines, and you'll seek their confirmation later this month.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
And then, Mark, is your thought, I mean, if I fully expect it to be approved at our meeting and most likely at yours as well. Once that happens, and we both just direct the chief to move forward and get it out on the website, and perhaps even start an article in our next newsletter. I know, Jenny, you're back there listening. But would it be appropriate to put that in our newsletter as well, Karen?
Yeah, I think this would be a perfect thing to do, that you have launched this, and the basic reasons why you are exploring this are X, Y, and Z. And here's an email website if you have questions, and you can also submit comments or questions at an email, and make sure that there's a staff person assigned to check that email and respond. Yeah.
Well, it may generate some early questions or discussions that we hadn't thought about. So hopefully it's all positive.
Yeah. I think that would be great to just start getting this out there, so it's not a surprise to folks. And if there are big questions, we know what they are, and we're prepared to answer them and address them head on.
Bruce,
I
you
want
were,
it to be August when they first hear about it.
Exactly. Okie doke. So unless there's more on that, I think, unless you wanted to take a motion to take this forward, that the two sides will take this forward and have the discussion and connect with the chief and give him direction after that. But if I think we're probably okay one way or the other.
I think it's memorialized in the minutes of the meeting.
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion for it. I think that's the intent. It's in the charter to do that. We'll do it.
Okay. Then the last sort of substantive thing we had on the agenda today is taking a look at this draft statement of shared values and principles, which is just based on one that I've used with several RFA discussions. And so it may or may not work for you, but it can be helpful just to sort of like, yeah, we do or do not agree on these things. And those are sort of where we're aiming. I mean, a couple of them, participatory governance, that might want to be tweaked because it might be arguably referring to the city of Blaine. And I don't know if we know enough to know what we want to do with the city of Blaine as an included jurisdiction. And similarly, the very last item, H, on the second page, that's one that I'm not entirely sure would apply here, but this is sort of a food for thought document, and you guys can get your fingerprints all over it. And then we would try to adopt something like this and use it as sort of a basic guidepost as we go on from here on our governance and organizational structure and policy discussions. Did anybody see something in here that they thought was like, that's not us, we don't do that, or we shouldn't be doing that, that's crazy talk? Or where something that is really important to you about these discussions and how you would like to work together and the organization you'd like to create that's missing from here. Again,
You talking about
starting at the very general, we move.
You're talking about page 25?
I am, sir. 25, 26.
Yeah. I think, yeah, this is the second time we've been through these. We made some changes after the second meeting, correct?
No, I have not brought this particular thing forward to you. We were looking more at sample project goals, which slightly different. This is sort of underlying values. But there's some overlap.
Do you want approval or a motion to approve these at this meeting?
You don't have to approve it today. In particular, I would like to hear if you guys think item 5 and item H apply to you here, or you would adjust them.
Well, I guess it all depends on how you describe jurisdictions. To me, jurisdictions would be participants in the RFA, i.e. if we were to bring in Linden or Ferndale or Bellingham or whatever, they would be a jurisdiction versus
Okay.
the city of Blaine, to me, is not District 21 or District 4, and therefore, if we define jurisdiction as the current fire districts,
So we could call it partners in the creation of the RFA to clarify that maybe. Jurisdictions which are partners in creating the RFA or partners in the RFA structure,
I like the partners idea.
partners. Just so it's not just anybody included within your territory. It's
right?
official partners. Okay. That would be one way to get at that concern, which is a good one.
And what was the other one you said?
The other one was the very last one, and there may be others in here, but these were two
Okay.
that I thought I wasn't entirely sure that these two clicked with you guys. Item H on page 26 there. Because I'm not sure how much contracting to provide services to other agencies you are doing. Or you would be doing as an RFA. So this one sort of, I thought you might be able to strike it completely, but maybe there's some component of this which rings as important.
Hey, Chief, would the fire marshal fall under this?
That, or I'm also thinking our auto aid agreement with the city of Bellingham.
So this is basically saying, to the extent you guys are providing services to other people, you're not going to subsidize those at the, everybody should be paying the full cost for whatever services you are providing to them. That's basically what this says.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I need to digest this a little more, I think. And
Okay.
probably have some discussions with several, with each of you individually about where do we want to, how does that want to look, or how should that look?
Mhm.
Because that's an issue that's something we'll need to address.
Mhm. And if it's not hugely important, you don't need to even include it. But if you want to include it and those discussions are helpful, great.
Right, and that's what I'm just thinking of issues that it would crop up downstream. Would it bind us to something in the future that we can or can't do? And is it easier just to eliminate it? And do we understand? But do we also understand the implications of eliminating it?
So I guess just for clarification, as an example, let's say we decide to contract with Sumas or Everson or Nooksack or whatever, and we end up, it costs us more to do that, then is that like a per capita thing or whatever? Just because, let's say we'd have to staff a station out there that runs 2 calls a week or something like that.
Right.
It would be a significant cost to the district to provide a minimal service by
And unless
taking on someone else. Is that kind of an example?
Yeah, that would be the idea, that you're basically would be saying, we are not in this to subsidize other people in the delivery of our services. Our first and primary duty is to our taxpayers. And if somebody comes to us and says, will you please provide us service? Our starting assumption will be, we need to get full cost recovery for delivering that service to them.
It's kind of like
the idea.
Wouldn't it be beneficial, since we have a auto aid with the city right now, so we're not creating any problems? Let's just look. Do we need a motion to remove it? This way we can just keep going the same way that we're going with the city of Bellingham.
You could do that. It's just this a way to sort of think through some of these things that may come up in our sort of partnership philosophies. And if you guys want to take it out, you certainly can.
Well,
Or if you want to noodle on it for a week and decide next week, you can do that too.
Is there any other way we could revise it?
Sure, you can revise it. Like if you wanted to say, with the exception of auto aid agreements, if we're providing full fire services to another jurisdiction, will blah, blah, blah. You could exempt mutual aid agreements if you wanted to.
I think we should let the chief chew on it for a little bit.
Mhm.
I think we're all kind of on the same page here. I think it's just getting, making sure we haven't left something out.
Did anybody,
Yeah,
when you scanned the
this-
seat, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I don't have anything to add.
Did anybody else see anything in here that you're like, I don't know what this means, or I don't know why this is important? Anything you want to chat about in this document? It's a starter document, and it sort of becomes a touchstone, but it's not like going to be a formally a part of some RFA thing. It's just sort of to help us move forward, saying, yeah, we're sharing a lot of core values about what a good agency looks like, and we want to acknowledge that.
On the fire benefit charge there, is there any state standard or any information that our community members can go to get more information about that?
So you're backing up to the text for the website.
Right.
There's a little bit of stuff online at the MRSC. I mean, I didn't want to overemphasize. We might be able to find a cross link on that if you want to double back to that for a minute and find another website. I'm not getting the sense that you guys are going to be moving in that direction in the near term. So I didn't want to, I mean, I actually was wondering if I should take out the FBC questions entirely from the website in case, but I think you'll probably be reserving the authority to use an FBC in the future. It may be 5 or 10 years from now.
Right.
So it's just like the minimal heads up on this is a risk-based charge. We can give you all sorts of stuff about it. But I thought that since it's really sort of out in the future, we didn't want to get people all excited about a benefit charge in the context of this particular RFA discussion.
Yeah, do you think that we're getting a little bit ahead too fast? Let's wait a while before we implement all this stuff,
Right. So, but maybe I'm missing your concern, John.
Well, I'm just thinking a lot of community members would have questions about that. I mean, that's,
Mhm.
am I going to be spending more money now? Am I going to be getting less money?
Well, we don't know. We don't know whether this is going to cost taxpayers more or less initially.
Right.
And we don't know how much more or less. And we could sit in something that we could put something in there on the fire benefit charge question that says, subject to change, the committee expects to reserve the right to implement a fire benefit charge in the future, but does not intend to do so in the near term. You could put something like that in there. Would that help?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. I'll make that change, and I'll circulate that so that can be the version that you guys bring forward.
Sorry to back up everybody.
No, I think it's a good point you made there, John. And Harry too. I don't think we should get too far ahead when we don't know what the financial impact of all this is going to be. Did anybody else have anything to add on the communications plan, or not the communications plan, but the just those questions for the website? Any concerns at all?
None here.
None.
Yeah, if we could just get that wordsmithed about the
Sure.
the benefit charge.
Good. That's great. It's easy to do. I'm happy to do that.
And then just have the chief chew on number H of the statement of shared values and principles. I think I don't want to make any motions on that right now.
It's just,
So-
it was here just as a starter set to think about what's actually, if you guys are trying to define to your neighbor what a good, healthy regional fire authority would look like, how would it behave? these were some of the sort of good governance, mom and apple pie stuff that other folks have said, yeah, it helps us to make sure we all know we agree on stuff like this. So,
Yeah, no, these are great questions. So,
okay, so we'll come back to this and maybe approve it next time. We've got one edit in here from Bruce, your suggestion on item 5, and then I'll work with the chief to see if there are any other, what other suggestions and clarifications he would suggest, and we'll redline it and bring it back to you guys next time.
Sounds good.
Looks good.
And,
yeah,
and from there, we'll start diving in more deeply into the governance options that you have in front of you, and start to hear what kind of ideas you have about the direction you'd like to see the governance model take. And then we can start pulling together some options and examples that would be consistent with those ideas. Okay. So we'll dive into that next time. That is, I think, it, except for future committee meeting dates and picking our next meeting in particular and closing comments. So Chief, what do we have for the next meeting?
So the proposal would be the week of the November 2nd through 6th. Just looking at the calendar
for an RFA meeting.
on our
Okay.
Facebook. Yep.
Did you want to do a second one this month?
The 22nd was planned,
Oh,
isn't
sorry, the 20. Yeah, we've got the 22nd. planned.
22nd.
Sorry.
Okay,
That's in the work plan.
Going forward from that would be November 2nd, the week of November 2nd through the 6th. I'll send out a doodle poll for the actual date. I just want to make sure that that week is okay, that people are okay with that week.
So we're not talking about the next meeting, we're talking, which is the 22nd, right?
Correct. I'm talking about the meeting after. Meeting after the meeting.
The first meeting in November.
you want to try to get 2 meetings pinned, two pinned down for November?
I do. The other dates I have are the 16th or the 18th of November. Or we could go the week after.
That's Thanksgiving weekend, so
Right.
I'm good.
the every 2-week thing? I mean, so that would put us the 1st and 3rd weeks of November.
I think that week of the 18th, the 16th through the 20th, I believe the District 4 committee's on the 18th, District 4 board meeting. Is that correct, Chris?
I believe our meeting is on the 12th.
Oh, the 12th of November?
Yeah,
Okay.
early.
That the first week of November, I'm good with the 2nd, the 4th, and the 6th,
Okay.
and the 3rd, but that's election day too, so.
Well, I'll send out a poll. I just want to know if anybody had anything that couldn't do it the first week of November. And then, like I said, wanted to check. I realize it's kind of, we can, I have permission from Jenny to to fit it in on a board week, but it's got to be either the 16th or the 18th of November, just based on her workload on that Tuesday.
I'm good with either of those 2 weeks.
Okay.
Same here.
I'm good.
Ken? Okay.
I'm good.
So I'll send out doodle polls for the actual specific dates. I just wanted to make sure that those times were okay.
Okay.
Great. So our next meeting on the 3rd, if we go back to our fabulous work plan,
22nd.
22nd. Yep.
22nd, sorry, the next meeting, you're right. Sorry.
Number 3.
We will hear what any input from the boards on the text for the website, and hopefully confirm that that's been going. We'll come back to the statement of values and principles. We'll move on to the next level of the governance discussion. And maybe Chief can come back with some starter thoughts about how he's going to at least approach the facilities, apparatus, staffing, baseline plus discussions with you, and see what suggestions or ideas you might have. And if Bill Cushman can come, We will have him come as well and talk a little bit about what his model does so you guys can get a better sense of that. So that's sort of the tentative plan. Any questions or suggestions? We will try to make that happen then. Thank you.
What time is our meeting on the 22nd?
It is
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then finally, closing comments, and I'll start with Ken.
I have none today. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
And let's see here, who else? Chris, do you have anything for the group?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, I'm just gonna go around. John?
No, a lot to take in. I appreciate your time and all the information. It's moving along.
If we're moving too fast or too slow, you guys just throw a rock at me and I'll adjust. I'm pretty good at that. Even if I don't enjoy the initial rock part, you know, I get over it. Rich, anything from you?
Nope, good.
Excellent. Scott?
It's good.
Harry?
Good.
Mark?
All good?
Awesome. Bruce?
Perfect. Thank you. We are screaming along and I like it.
Woohoo.
Yep.
All right, Chief, I'll let you take us out of here on that.
Just wanted to thank everybody for their engagement today and being active participants. It's good to see. That's what this is all about. So appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief. Good work today. You too, Karen.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Karen, for all that you.
Thank you, Karen.
She's doing a lot in the background. So
Really
Yeah.
enjoying working with you guys. Thank you.
great.
And with
Okay.
that, I guess do we need a motion to adjourn the meeting? I can't remember if we did that. I think we did last. All right. Second,
Second.
everybody in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
I guess no one's going to oppose. All right, meeting's adjourned at 4:24. Thank
Nice
you very
job.
much.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all. We'll see you in a
Thank
couple
you.
weeks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Group shrinks.
Leave.
Yes.